Now, when I started learning bass, some of my biggest inspirations were bassists like Victor Wooten, Pino Palladino, James Jamerson, and Sheree Reed, just to name a few. Outside of them being killer musicians, I noticed that it seemed like they always knew where to play licks that hit you right in the gut. Some of these licks weren't even a bunch of notes. They were just one or two notes placed in the perfect spot that made you react every single time. But now, after playing in the professional music industry for over 10 years and being exposed to many incredible musicians, I've compiled a list of techniques that pro musicians use to play licks in the perfect spots in any song. So the foundation of learning any song is to learn the sections. What are these sections? You have things like the intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, tag, bridge, instrumental, ending, or outro. The sections of a song are the foundation of being able to map out a song. Because if you don't know where a song is going, how can you choose the perfect spot to play? If identifying sections of a song is still a little confusing to you, an easy way to map it out is by looking up the lyrics or chord charts of the song you're trying to learn online to use as a reference when you're listening. Because most times, those sections are indicated on the lyric sheets or chord charts. Now, the next foundational concept is, how do people listen to songs? When you are listening to a song, you are learning the song. The first time anyone hears a song, their ears are learning the sections of a song or what sounds are repeating themselves. By us knowing that, it gives us the advantage to be able to surprise them with a lick. Because most times when people feel like they've heard all the songs got to offer, they check out and become bored with the song. Which leads me to my first pro tip. Play on the second pass. When playing live or playing in the studio, take advantage of the repetition of a song to play and surprise a listener with a lick. The place that I always like to use initially is the second time you play a section of a song. For example, say you're playing a song that you've played through the intro, the verse, the pre-chorus, if there is one, and the chorus of a song. What the second pass would be is when you play these sections again, such as a verse 2, a second pre-chorus, or a second chorus. When you play a lick the second time you play a section of a song, that's where you get that surprised moment. Because now that the person who's listening knows what that section is supposed to sound like, they will be surprised when something changes. And this doesn't just have to be the second pass, it could be the third pass too. It just depends on if the song has a third pass of the section that you're trying to place the lick at. Here's an example of me using this technique in a song. Now, to really hone this in, you'll need to use this next one. Play where there isn't a vocal. This point is pretty self-explanatory. When you play a lick, try not to play where the vocalist is singing. When you do this, you are allowing the lick to become more of a moment and not distract from what the lyrics are saying or the moment that the vocalist is trying to create. But what makes this tip even more powerful is when you pair it with the first tip, playing on the second pass. Because now if you play your lick on the second pass and play where there isn't a vocal, your lick stands out and makes an even bigger moment. Here's an example of me using this technique.
Travis! This is the best day of my life.
Now, to take this concept one step further, there are moments when you can actually play on top of a vocal in a song. But the key is you have to play with it and not against it. Now, there are a few ways that I usually use when I do this. I either match the vocalist melody with my instrument, doing kind of like a unison thing, playing exactly what they're playing. I harmonize the melody with, my bass and do a lick that harmonizes with that melody. Or I create a call and response moment where I play after the vocalist sings in their melody. Now, here's a clip of me playing with the vocal. Now, one of our goals we should have when playing licks as a musician is to make moments, which leads me to my next tip. Don't fill space, make moments. Now, sometimes just because you follow these tips when it comes to playing doesn't always mean a lick needs to be there. Just as much as licks can add to a song, they can take away from a song just as much. So understanding if your lick is just filling space is so vital when placing them. My rule of thumb is to always try to make a moment with any lick that I play. Now, there's a couple of ways that I determine this. First, is the song busy or is the song open? Now, if a song is busy, all that means is that there is a lot of licks, hits, and moments already in the pocket of a song, which means that if I try to add a lick, it may make the song sound even more cluttered or even just cluttered in general. But if a song is open, that means that there is a ton of space to make a moment in a song. Now, two, what is the overall song vibe? Just because a song is open or even busy doesn't necessarily mean you need to add or take away licks, but understand what type of licks will enhance the song. Now, for example, if a song is slower and more bluesy of a vibe, something like that, you may not want to add many licks because the vibe of bluesy music is having a lot of open space. So you just have to learn what genre you're playing. Now, the next tip is play to enhance, not to impress. There are many times when I was younger that I overplayed licks like crazy. But part of the reason for that was because I was playing licks to impress others rather than enhance the song. Don't get me wrong, it is totally okay to play licks and feel good when it hits somebody in the gut unexpectedly. But being in the professional music industry, you never want to draw more attention to yourself more than the song. That's why when you hear seasoned professional musicians play, they can get their point across in fewer notes rather than many. Sometimes when you are playing, you don't want to make a moment, you just want to make the pocket of a song be the moment. When you have times like this, you can use shorter and less flashy licks to enhance the pocket rather than make a moment based on a singular lick. Now, here's an example of this.
She's no Annie Oakley. She's no perfect shot. Well, she's a city burn.
So now my last point is know how much space is available. Some songs are more involved and busier than others, and some bands have more band members than others. So when you play in different band configurations, know that if there isn't enough space for a lick, then don't try to play one. The more band members that are in a group, the more potential clutter there is to make them sound less tight. Because the key to playing in big bands is pocket. Now, I've played in a lot of different band configurations, from acoustic 2-piece to playing with a 14-piece band. And what I've learned over the years is that you have to do 1 to 2 things. 1, play licks that create movement, and 2, plan where to play a lick and communicate it with the band. Because when you start playing with multiple musicians who all want to play a lick, you have to know when to step back and let someone else take it. Because in big band configurations, not everyone will have a chance to play a lick, only a select few. So you have to have the discipline to know when that isn't you. So when you practice songs and you're learning these licks to play in these songs, make sure you take the time, map out the song, learn the sections, and use these different techniques to play and place your licks perfectly. Now, if you enjoyed this video or like this style video, please let me know in the comments below. And also, if you want to support this channel, feel free to check out any of the affiliate links in my description below. And also check out my website, travisdykesmusic.com, where you can get merch and a whole lot of other items. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.